Hey everybody, welcome back to Blue Collar Homestead. I got my arm back kind of, you can see what I got going on there. And kind of right there. But it's, I don't know, probably 10% of what it should be. But anyways, I'm here to tell you about the Blue Collar Homestead Chili Cook-Off for 2021. That's right, we're going to start it. Fall is here, chili season's here. Everybody loves chili, everybody that I know, except for my wife for some reason. But this is the Chili Cook-Off Kickoff. So this is what's going to start it all. So we're going to call out 2 channels, and I'm going to go over the rules real quick. It has to be homemade, can't be out of a can, like Hormel or something. It's got to be a bunch of stuff you put together. You know, you got to show your ingredients, preparation, all that stuff. Cooking. Cook it however you want. If you want to cook it in a crock pot, in the oven, in a witch's cauldron on a fire in the backyard, I really don't care how it's cooked, as long as it's cooked. And then of course you're going to have presentation. You know, bring it out in a bowl and see what it looks like and all that good stuff. So far, we just have bragging rights for this. All right, as we get closer to the end date, we're going to let this roll until December 15th. As we get closer to the end date, we'll put out another video on detailed instructions on how to vote. And maybe we'll get, you never know, maybe we'll get a sponsor or something to donate some prizes or something like that. We'll see how it goes. So this is our official entry. And of course, to enter, when you put in the title, hashtag Blue Collar Homestead Chili 2021. So this is going to be our official entry. So why don't you come on over to the kitchen and I'll show you what I'm going to do for this this cook-off. Alright, here is all my ingredients. Now most of my stuff is out of the garden. The only thing that's not is the onions, because our onions didn't do that well this year. But everything else is, except the onions, the kidney beans aren't, and of course the chili powder. But this is 2 quarts of tomato sauce, fresh out of our garden. 2 onions. It's probably about 2 cups of green peppers, a little bit of jalapeno to spice it up. These are kidney beans we got from the Amish store. I've never used kidney beans like this. They're always out of the can, so this will be interesting. And then, of course, diced tomatoes. And, of course, this is locally grown ground beef. So let me get this in the pan, or try to with one hand. I'm going to take the scissors and cut this open. I'll make it easier, but let's get this started in here. So we're just going to drop this in here and brown it. Alright, I'm going to set that there for a minute. I am going to take one of these if I can get it open. I only got one hand, so
here, just
hold on. Yeah, you might have to open that for me. I only got.
Hold on, I gotta open it for you.
Yeah, I can't do this. All right, we're back. Trent had to open the lid for me. I couldn't do it. My hand, let me look at my hand. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit before I can be doing stuff like that. But anyways, I'm going to get one of these started. It's our homegrown tomato sauce. Throw that in there on a medium heat. I'm going to take an entire bottle of this, chuck the whole thing in there. And for now, that's how that's going to go. This is going to, I got to stir that in, stir it together while the beef is doing its thing. This, like I said, this is on a medium heat. Stir that all up in there. And you're going to simmer this until it's, starts to bubble, and not really a rolling boil or anything, but when it gets hot and it starts bubbling. So that's what we're going to do. I need a separate thing for this. I don't want to cross-contaminate by putting this on the same thing that the meat spoon is on, so we're going to do that. Alright, let me get the ground beef done, and then I'll come right back to you. Alright, since I can't do this part, Trina is going to dump all that in there and stir it up. Actually, you just dump it in there and then I'll jump back in here. But just lifting up the pan and doing all that, and my hand being messed up, just doesn't work. So she had to do the hard work for me. She also had to cut up all that stuff because I couldn't do it. So this is where we're at though. Alright, so I'm going to stir this in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the first ingredient, the onions. I'm going to throw all those in there. And then this is going to actually simmer for about a half an hour before I add any other ingredients. So I'm going to stir this in here. and let it simmer for about a half hour, and then we'll be back. This has been going for a while, simmer. Just going to give that a quick stir, make sure nothing sticks to the bottom. And then we're going to dump all of our green peppers in. And then we're going to let this rip for about a half hour. And while I'm sitting here stirring this, I think the two channels that we've decided to call out for the chili cook-off is Lisa and Ryan over at Yogi Hollow. You never know, maybe they'll get creative and, you know, put Ryan's antelope in the chili or something. And then we also want to call out Daz over at My Aussie Kitchen and Garden. Now, that guy cooks some amazing stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. I mean, it doesn't have to be a traditional chili like mine. It could be anything. You know, maybe you got a chili you make with chicken or, you know, with deer meat. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just put it out there and let's see what it is. I'd be interested in more than one ways to make chili, so I'm all about it. So, all right, we'll be back in about 25 minutes or so, and we'll add more ingredients, and then we'll see where this thing ends up. All right, we're back. We're gonna add this final, well, not final ingredient, but you can kind of see what's going on in there. Everything's starting to blend together nicely. Now, I've never used these uncooked raw kidney beans before, and it says when you add them in here it's going to take 45 to 90 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in to get a little more liquid. Now the thing too is I usually use 4 cans of kidney beans, but I'm trying something different here. This 4 cans, I want to say there's about 1.5 cups in each can, so that should be about 6 cups. This is 4 cups. I don't know if I'm going to add all that, but I'm going to dump this in there. Let me stir this up a little bit and see how the consistency looks. So this is going to have, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to dump it all in there. Yep, all right. So this is going to have to simmer for quite a long time to get these beans cooked. And then, you know, after that's done, I will throw in our very own diced tomatoes out of the garden. And the jalapenos, there's no direct measurement for that because jalapenos are inconsistent. You might get a bunch of peppers that are really hot, and you might get some peppers that aren't really hot. So I usually just throw a couple tablespoons in to get the heat where I want it. If it needs more, then I'll add more. So we're going to let this simmer for probably a good hour, and then we'll come back and see how the beans behaved, and we'll add some jalapeno to it, and maybe we'll add the diced tomatoes. The diced tomatoes I like to do last because you don't want them to cook down into nothing. I'd rather have the tomato chunks in there. So we'll be back in about an hour. We'll see how this goes. All right, we are back. It's been about an hour, and the beans are softened up about 3/4 of the way. So that's working. Now I did had to add a little bit of water to this because usually when I add the cans of beans, I don't drain them. That's right. Well, because I didn't use beans out of a can, there was no liquid, and these beans absorbed a lot. So I had to add a few cups of water. So that's done. Pretty much, I'm going to throw this. This is diced tomatoes out of the garden. Going to throw that in there. Give that kind of a stir. And then, like I said, jalapenos are tricky because you never know how much heat you're going to get out of them. So for starters, I ground them up. I'm just going to throw about 2 spoonfuls in here. Stir that up, let it cook down for a little while, and then try it out. But this is pretty much it for my chili recipe. Like I said, I like to have noodles with my chili, so I'm going to cook those up, and then I'll get it in a bowl, and I'll show you what that's all about, and we'll wrap this video up after that. Alright, it's ready to go. I had to let it rip for probably a little over an hour to get the beans softened up, but I have tasted it. It does taste pretty good. So I'm going to take some of this chili, put it over that. Stir it up. Try to get all the noodles off the bottom. And there we go.
Where?
Oh, that is good. I never used the fresh kidney beans before. It did take forever to like soften up, but it came out pretty good. Like I said, the only thing that was different was I had to add a little bit of water because the beans soaked up a lot of it. But I would definitely do that again. Less preservatives and less unnecessary ingredients and fresh stuff, you know. So this is pretty much it for our video. So I think we're going to wrap this up. Good luck. Have fun. Do something crazy. That's what we did on Crazy Ed's Barbecue Cook-Off. You know, we did something different. If you're going to do something different, go for it, man. It's all about having fun. We'll see you on the next one.